In this video, I'm going to give you all the travel tips you need to know Bordeaux, the wine capital of France. An incredible, beautiful city, very similar to Paris in my opinion, even a little cleaner and more organized. It's a paradise for those who love wine, history and culture. An incredible city. We'll explain everything, what to do, where to stay, the tips, how to get there, everything you need to know to make the most out of your trip to Bordeaux, guys. So don't forget to give us a like, that's very important for us. Subscribe to the channel and buckle up. Hey guys, for those who don't know me, I'm Gabriel Lorenzi, creator of the Grupo Dicas, the largest travel content network in the world, and today we're gonna talk about one of the most important cities in France and the most characteristic because of its wine tasting. It's a city whose entire region is suitable for having excellent wineries scattered around, great plantations. It's very beautiful, it has several nice regions and the best wines in Europe along with the Tuscany region, but it's very nice because it's a city that combines history. It's small in theory, the historical part is very easy to get to know, and it's one of the favorite destinations for tourists who travel to France and want an option other than Paris. Many people only go to Paris, but it's nice because it changes the scenario a lot. Paris is a much bigger, more touristy city. Bordeaux I found more charming, a quieter, calming, and very beautiful city, so it's worth including it in your itinerary. How do I get to Bordeaux? Bordeaux is 600 kilometers from Paris. You can either take a plane, which is cheap and fast. It takes 40 minutes if I'm not mistaken, and it's very close. Or you can take the train. Trains in Europe also work very well. It takes just 3 hours to get there from Paris, and the train's good because you don't have to check in and out like with airline tickets, so it's almost the same time as flying in general. With airport time, I think the train is the best option for getting there, and of course, you can rent a car and make the trip. It takes a little longer, about 5 hours, but it's a beautiful scenario. You will explore the whole countryside, then you can drive around and get to know it. It's a beautiful scenario really. So those are the three options for getting to Bordeaux. The train works very well in Europe. I'll even put the website where we buy all the train tickets in Europe, guys, in the description of the video. By editing the cities, it shows all the routes. It's a very nice place to buy and it's reliable. Take a look around, but I think the train is the best option. If you also want to rent a car, here is a link to a car rental comparison website, guys. It will get you there much cheaper, but take a look, compare prices and see what's the best way for you to get there. The time to visit Bordeaux. You can't go to Bordeaux in the winter. The tip I give a lot also for Paris is to avoid winter because it's very cold. If you go there in November, December, January or early February, it's very cold. You can't really enjoy the sights. You get very cold on the street, and these are cities where you have to walk. In Bordeaux it's not as cold as in Paris because it's quite far down to the left, so it's not as cold, but I think you should avoid it at least from November to February. Any other time is fine. Summer in July and August is a bit hot, but you can enjoy it better than winter. But if you can, prioritize autumn and spring, which is roughly between the end of March and June, and then September, October, and the beginning of November. These are the best times. And the region, this is a very important tip, the most important of all, where to stay in Bordeaux. Bordeaux is not a city, it's big, but the historic tourist area is not so big, so it's very important to stay in a good location so you can do everything on foot. It's a city that even has a subway and public transportation, but in our opinion, you don't need to use any of them. You can do all the sites practically on foot, and it's very easy. I'm going to put a little map here to make it easier for you to see. It's a personalized map that we created on a very good website that's the world's largest hotel search engine. We use them a lot because of a strategy that I'm going to tell you about here. And right there on the map, there's this giant river that ends up cutting through the city, and you have to locate yourself so that you're in the area that's the historic center, and the closer you are to the river, the better, because that's where all the tourist attractions are concentrated. The waterfront is very beautiful, the bridges are tourist attractions there. You're close to the two main bridges, which are also beautiful, so if you're staying in the historic center, you'll be in a perfect location, you'll be able to do everything on foot, and you'll be in the heart of Bordeaux. If you'd like, I'll leave this little map that we made for you, which I'll link to below in the description of the video and in the first fixed comments, so that you can search for it. Then you close the map, put in the date of your trip, search, and open the map again. This map will open with the hotels on your date of travel, with the prices, and you'll be able to see exactly where you're staying. That's great, guys. And now for the tip we use, the strategy for always getting cheaper hotels, it's advanced booking. It's essential for all hotels in the world. It works like this. As the room sells out, the price automatically goes up. It's a little tourism system that everyone already practically uses. So if you go in and you've seen a nice hotel for a good price, you book it. You pay a lot less than if you leave it for a month or 2 months from now, then do it. This website has a very good free cancellation deal with almost all the hotels. So you've been signed up, booked, and if a while it goes by, you want to cancel, change hotels or rooms, or just cancel the trip at all, it's one click with no bureaucracy. You don't spend anything. So this is a tactic we use, and it saves us a lot of money, because the earlier you book, the cheaper you pay. Take a look here and try to find some nice hotels. If you want to know the hotel we stayed in and loved, I'll leave it down here also. It's also a very beautiful, incredible hotel. It's a 5-star hotel, but in Bordeaux it's not as expensive as elsewhere, so you can stay in a 5-star hotel for a good price. We got a very good deal on it. I don't know if it was the season. Check it out, it's close to everything. It's an iconic hotel. Try to see how much it is on your date. If it's too expensive, you can use the little map to see the others nearby that are much more affordable. And now, before I get into what to do, all the tours, wineries, wine tasting, the most incredible museum I've ever seen in my life, I'm going to talk briefly about 3 very important tips for any place in Europe you visit. Travel insurance. Travel insurance is a must for Europe, guys. To go to any of these destinations, you must have travel insurance that covers at least 30,000 euros in medical assistance. So get one, it's cheap. There are places where it's very cheap, good insurances. I'll leave the link to the page here in the description. We're organizing all the links there, keeping them up to date, and many links already have discounts included. So use this page, save it, click on it, you'll be able to organize everything, and we'll be able to organize everything so you can plan your trip there. And there's this travel insurance comparator, which is an incredible tool that compares insurance with all the main insurers on the market and finds incredible prices. The prices are half what they are if you go directly to a travel agency and ask for a quote. It's the same insurance, fantastic companies. Check it out, it's very good and saves you a lot of money. And in the same vein, the SIM card. If you want to travel abroad, you need a cell phone chip to use your cell phone during your trip. We highly recommend prepaid international SIM cards, which are the easiest and most practical way to use your cell phone there. I'll give you below the one we use for the whole of Europe, the whole world in fact. The signal is excellent and they deliver it to your home. The new cell phones now have the virtual eSIM. You register by email, you make your purchase on their website by email, and they send you a QR code, you register your cell phone, and that's it. You've already got the prepaid SIM card installed, so you can get there and use the internet at will. So it's very good for locating yourself and doing everything there. Guys, let's go to the tours and what to do in Bordeaux. I'll start with one that I thought was the coolest. I think it's very different, you have to visit it. It's the Wine Museum. Actually, it's called La Cité du Vin, which is the city of wine. It's an incredible building, it's beautiful from the outside. Whichever viewpoint you go to, I'll give you some tips on which ones are best for seeing the city from the top and from the bridges themselves, which I mentioned are close to the center. They're beautiful places to take pictures, you can see the buildings. So they've made made a museum, which is a giant wine decanter. You can see it from afar. It's very different from the others, and inside there are 7 floors of wine tasting, technological things so you can understand how wine is made, how it's stored. You have several tastings of different things. There's a wing there with wines from every country in the world. It's surreal. There's a store where you can buy all the wines. There is cheap wine, expensive wine, you name it. Sometimes you get one with a glass of good local wine for 2 or 3 euros. That's the good thing about Bordeaux. If you like wine, sometimes it's cheaper than water. There was a little restaurant we went to where water was 4 euros a bottle, and a bottle of their wine there was it was 3 euros, I think, which was delicious. So take the opportunity to taste as much wine as you can, in moderation, of course. It won't compromise your trip, but this museum, it's really cool. It used to have a ticket on the website that you could buy, but I don't think there is anymore. But you just have to get there at the time and buy it. It's a very easy to get in, it's very cheap, and there's a restaurant where you can have lunch or dinner. There's a beautiful rooftop, it's high up, and it's a restaurant with a beautiful view of the city, great wines, great cheese, great dishes. It's a very nice and well worth a visit. It's a little further away. It's the only place that goes a little out of the historic center. It's further up on that bridge that's in the north of the city, but it's about a 40-minute walk. You arrive, take an Uber or a cab, and you're there in 10 minutes. It's really close, and it's totally worthwhile. And since I'm talking about wine, a very nice thing to do there is to visit the wineries. For wine tasting, the Emilion region is the most famous and the one with the best wines. There are several nice tastings to do there and wineries, and there's another one called Médoc, which is another wine growing region as well. They pick you up from your hotel and take you there with lunch or dinner, and sometimes you visit 2 or 3 wineries. It's a great experience, so try to do at least one of the Emilion ones. I think it's more interesting, but both are beautiful. I'll leave you with the website we used to buy all our tickets, tours, and excursions in Europe. It's a very good one and has these 2 excursions which we really liked. They pick you up from your hotel, take you on all the tastings, and if you open their description of the tours, you will see everything that's included. But try to do at least one. If you're a wine lover, stay a few extra days in Bordeaux and try to do one day in one region and another day in another. It's very nice. It's a very nice tour. On this website, you can also find transfers from the airport to your hotel. For those arriving at the airport, which is a little further from the city, it's the cheapest way. You will pay less than a cab, less than Uber, and it's more reliable. The person already has their license plate. They already know the hotel. Everything is all set. There's no hassle or headaches. We use this website both for tickets and for the transfer from the airport to the hotel. It's very comfortable and the company is super reliable. You don't have to worry about being scammed or whatever. You just go with peace of mind. As for the tourist and historical sites in the center, almost none of them require payment and you can do everything on foot. There is Saint-André's Cathedral, which I think is really cool because it's gigantic. It has 2 very large towers and it's very goth in style. If you've been to Paris before, you'll see that all the buildings are very reminiscent of Paris, the style and architecture. You even feel a bit like you're in Paris. There are 3 nice cathedrals in Bordeaux. This is one of the main ones and it's very cool, well worth a visit. Another very famous place in the historic center is the focal point of the city, the Place de la Bourse, which is the old stock exchange building. It's a postcard of Bordeaux. If you look at the photos of most people who go to Bordeaux, they take them in the square, so it's really a nice place. There are fountains of steam coming out onto the ground. It's nice for children to play in. There are cafes in the square, so take the opportunity to get to know it. It's a very beautiful and iconic place in Bordeaux. Another tourist attraction nearby is the Big Bell, which they call the Gros Clocher. French is difficult to speak. There will be words that you see are different there, but it's a very beautiful cathedral with a bell high up, a very nice building, and it's right in the middle of an alley with a beautiful setting where you're in a little street, and if you look ahead, you can see the bell from above. It was very striking because it dictated the city's events and timetables. There are also the bridges. There's the Berland, which is one of the coolest bridges. It's close to Saint-André's Cathedral. The one I mentioned it, you can take a look at it, walk over it, cross it, and you can take lots of nice photos, especially at sunset. This is a very cool tip. It's also known as the Stone Bridge because its official name sometimes in some places is Pont de Pierre. And look at this information. If you stop, there are 17 arches underneath it. Do you know why? because each one represents a letter of the name Napoleon Bonaparte. The guy had a very high ego, right? He ended up doing it as a tribute to himself. I don't know if he did it himself or someone else did it, but it was to pay homage to him. So if you stop, there are 17 arches underneath it, guys. It's something really out of the picture. And another beautiful place that stands out from the others is their public park, the Jardim Public, which is a very pleasant place, very European style, you know, those European parks. There's grass, there's a fountain, there's water, you can take a walk, go for a run, have some rest. You'll see people lying there soaking up the sun, so it's a place to relax. And for those who want to go shopping in Bordeaux, guys, there's a street called Rue Sainte-Catherine. Come on people, let's translate it to make it easier. It's a really long giant street. I think it's the stories you can imagine from all the well-known brands. It's really nice to visit. It's nice that it has modern and new brands like Apple, for example. And it's a historic area with historic buildings. It's a very different store design. I thought it was really cool. Take a walk around, have some ice cream, some coffee. It's a really nice place to visit. And another building worth seeing, which is also close to all these people, is the National Opera, which is the big theater, guys. This is where the great operas used it to take place and where concerts still take place. It's beautiful both inside and out, so try to get to know it. Take a tour inside because it's very, very beautiful. And here below I'll leave the link with everything organized. Use them and you'll be able to organize your trip in the best possible way, guys. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel because that really helps us a lot. And don't forget to check out the other videos on France, which are very good. There's the one on the Paris Côte d'Azur, which we're going to talk now. I'll leave them here so you can keep watching and plan your trip the best possible way, guys. So thank you very much and have nice trips. I'll see you next video.